Hello, everybody, and welcome into a Thursday edition of the Computer America Show. Ben is here with me tonight because Charles is literally winging his way to Vegas to Black Hat
2 minutes until showtime
to do coverage of the event, which he'll be reporting live here on the Computer America Show. It was evidently a last-minute travel arrangement, some problems, and so he's working those out and will not be on with us tonight. However, Ben is here to rescue the day once again, and so
my pleasure to do it.
Yes, exactly. Glad you're here. We're going to have Yamaha on the show in the first hour. Yamaha, won't you take me away? That's the motorcycle division. This is going to be the music division. And, we're going to be talking about their digital instruments, their sound bars, all the cool technology, digital technology that Yamaha does for musicians everywhere. And Phil Shea is going to be joining us. He has been on the show before, and he's going to be joining us in the first hour. And then in hour two, it'll be Computer and Technology News brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax, enjoy the show.
1 minute until showtime.
And as we get started. That's all the behind the scenes we get tonight.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America's heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Ben, what are you doing here? It's Thursday. Where's Charles?
I know. I was called in the last seconds. I'm like the reserves over here.
That's right. You are the reserves. Actually, Charles normally here on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, but he IMs me, 40 minutes before the show goes on the air. He's having some technical difficulties for traveling. He's supposed to be going to Vegas tomorrow to cover Black Hat and DEF CON, and he's going to be doing that for our show. And so evidently they messed up on the travel arrangements, and so he asked if he could bow out for tonight's show so he can make his way over there tonight, and he'll be in Vegas tomorrow, and he'll be doing the show live from Las Vegas. He's been assured that he'll have good internet access. He's getting a private house to use. So it sounds good. So hopefully all will be well. And so in the meantime, yes, Ben is filling in for Charles tonight on tonight's Computer America show. So, of course, in hour two, we're going to have Computer and Technology News brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And in the first hour, we're going to have Yamaha on the show. That's right. We're talking about digital, what Yamaha does for the digital community as far as instruments are concerned, and let's see what else. Speakers and sound bars. They got some really cool stuff, and going to do that. Let me just say hi to everybody in the chat room. And do that, and hi all. So what we're going to be doing tonight, if you have a comment or a question for us, I should like to get this out of the way right away. 347-884-8881. I'll get you on and get you through. That's 347-884-8881. Okay. You can also send us email to live, L-I-V-E, at computeramerica.com. Addison says you should ask for Charles's paycheck, Ben. Okay.
Well, making that much money, whew,
I know.
I don't think I can handle it.
Live at computeramerica.com. If you can also join us in our live interactive IRC chat room. From our homepage at computeramerica.com, you'll see the button right there. It says chat room /video page. Just click on that, and you'll see the Computer America chat room there for you. And basically, it'll ask you for a username. The chat room will ask you for a username. I think that's what they call it, the username. It's nickname. It'll ask you for a nickname. Okay, that's what they call it now. The nickname. That's the name you'll be known by when you go in there. You have to put in the CAPTCHA, the numbers or letters to make sure that it's you. Click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the Computer America chat room. Ben is in there. I'm in there. A whole bunch of Computer America fans are in there. Addison's in there. Fortress is in there. Jonathan, Jack, a lot of people. Regulars, newbies, they're all in there. So we invite you to join us in the chat room. And also, we invite you to watch us on our live Computer America video streaming page, and that's brought to you by Other World Computing. Quality products, expert support since 1988, now celebrating their 25th anniversary. Please visit them at their website at www.macsales.com. They just introduced something very, very new, just like yesterday, and I want to tell you all about it, but we're not going to do it in this hour. We'll do it in the next hour. They just introduced something called the Headless Mini Video Accelerator. This is an incredible little piece of hardware that I'm going to talk to you about in the second hour from Other World Computing. So you can, I'll tell you all about it, and you'll probably want to get one because it's unlike anything I've actually ever seen before. So we'll talk about that in the second hour of the show. So anything else that you want to mention before we get started, Ben?
No, just how I think everyone should make special note of how available I was, that, and how little of a life I have outside of Computer America, and how I'm so easy to book.
Evidently. Well, hopefully you'll have tomorrow night, Friday night off, so you can do what, go out and
Oh, yeah, I have plans everywhere for that.
play with your friends or whatever.
I guess.
Yeah, okay. Well, as I mentioned, tonight our guest is from Yamaha. Yamaha is a company that is powered by music. That's their quote, powered by music. And we explore some of the hardware that Yamaha makes, such as their Avantage line of premium models with more advanced features like Wi-Fi, multi-zones of video, as well as audio, more accurate auto room calibration, higher power DSP processors, and the top two models actually will be Dolby Atmos compatible, and we'll be talking about what that is. Returning to us is Phil Shea. Phil is the National Training Manager for the Yamaha Corporation of America. Phil, welcome back into Computer America. How are you?
Well, hello, Craig, Ben. It's good to be back.
And we're happy to have you back. And, lots been going on at Yamaha, obviously, since the last time you were here.
Well, I like this. I mean, there's so much technology coming out all the time that every time we get on air, it's something completely new we get to talk about. Nothing stale.
Well, that's good. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, as I said, there's always new products coming out, and I certainly want to talk about them. Now, do people know that Yamaha, they make motorcycles, and that's Charles wanted to be here tonight because he wanted to talk about motorbikes, but I said no. so he went but do people know that Yamaha is the world's largest manufacturer of musical instruments? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I mean, I don't think people think about, I don't know how often people go, I wonder who the largest manufacturer of musical instruments in the world is.
Let's look that up on Wikipedia.
But when you think about it, how many brands of musical instruments do you see on television? And that's, people know the Yamaha brand name, and they're familiar with the name Yamaha, and primarily it's the musical instruments. They see it on, all the primetime dance shows and singing shows and football games on the weekends, and the late night shows. There's Yamaha keyboards and Yamaha drums, and so they've been seeing the Yamaha name for years and years. So I think when we finally tell them that it's musical instruments, they go, "Oh, we do make musical instruments, not just motorcycles and jet skis."
Yeah. Really? I mean, that would make a good Jeopardy question. They are the world's largest manufacturer of musical instruments. Who is Yamaha?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's actually, amazingly, it's 1 in 4 musical instruments. So it's 25% of musical instruments that you buy in the world is a Yamaha branded instrument.
Wow. Wow.
Which that floors me how much that is.
Yeah,
a lot of trumpets and drums and piccolos. Yeah.
Now, we're talking about standard musical instruments, but as you mentioned, like drums and trumpets, but are these aren't even digital instruments, or we're just talking about regular musical instruments?
Yeah, that's just acoustic. That's acoustic instruments.
Right, analog.
And yeah, good old analog.
Analog musical instruments. Yeah, the way they were doing it in the times of Beethoven and Mozart. It's analog, exactly. But also, Yamaha makes an enormous amount of digital musical instruments as well. Is that not correct?
Yeah, that's been one of Yamaha's strengths and hallmarks in the musical industry. Going back into the 80s when we first started doing digital sampling, or with the first synthesizers, the DX1 was a famous one back there, and the first FM synthesizer, and just it allows musicians just to go crazy with their creativity. And we've been a leading forefront of that for years and years. Piano voices and keyboards and synthesizers and you name it. And then that just kind of dovetails. That's kind of where we got a lot of that trickled over into the home audio side with our DSP processing. We can touch base on later, but all the digital expertise that we've gained, over the last 30, 40 years, with earlier experimentation, is kind of goes across all of our product lines. Because, for instance, the concert grand that you see on television quite often, or during the Super Bowl, or something like that. Usually, that's about the big one's about $100,000. We've been making pianos for over 100 years now, and when you make an instrument that costs that much, there's a lot of detail and a lot of expertise and a lot of craftsmanship, that we developed over the years. So we build these instruments, and then when you play a recording back on a home audio piece, we know what that piano is supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
So we can make the playback equipment match what's going on with the actual musical instrument.
Well, as my recollection, Phil, is that that I know audio or digital sampling was the original way of doing this, but didn't Yamaha come out with another technology that was actual mathematical modeling of a sound? I can't remember what was it, C something or C1 or something that. So it's not an actual sampling, but it's an actual mathematical.
That would have been the Clavinova back, and that was our first organ, kind of a digital organ. I think was Clavinova was the voicing on that. Yeah, that goes back a ways.
All right,
that's pre-70.
Yeah,
or pre-80.
But this was something after that. They were actually taking a trumpet or a musical instrument.
That was like using their not mixers, but some of their more digital stuff, and they could just put the beats in one by one, and then play it, and it'll go left to right, and it'll read the whatever beats you put in. I think we talked about it about a year ago.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was. But basically, it was a mathematical modeling of the instrument, a violin. It wasn't an actual sampling of violin. It was they actually created the waveform.
It was the voicing of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Synthesized voicing of it, yeah.
And Yamaha was the one of the first to do that. I'm sorry. Go ahead. So.
Yeah, we obviously they've been leaders in all that type of sampling in actually several different technologies that are used today, and some that have come and gone, and that we've learned from over the years and things like that. One of the things I think is that I personally like about all the musical instruments is all of our silent instruments that we have now. We spent hundreds of years making instruments to make noise. Now we have a lot of technology into making them silent. We have a line of mutes. I grew up as a trumpet player, so practicing around the house is always kind of a problem. I don't think my wife would appreciate it much. We got a line of mutes. So you put it into the bell of the horn and you can practice, and it virtually silences the horn. And so then you can listen to it through headphones and play it with MIDI and different voices and stuff like that. So you can do all kinds of this, trombones and all brass instruments. And then guitars and pianos and drums. We have all these technologies that they're all silent now. So now people can actually use the products where they're living.
Wow.
And that's one of the things that Yamaha has done across the board. Is we do so many things to try to make the products fit into the customer's life or the customer's lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of making everyone leave the house while you want to practice your French horn, you throw a silent mute in there, and then you can practice all you want, and people in the next room can be watching TV and enjoying what they want to enjoy.
You say it makes it putting the. I've seen mutes you put in, and it certainly puts it down quite a bit. But you're saying this actually virtually makes it silent, and then of course you can hear everything. You have it attached to an amplifier or something, and you have a headset on, so you can hear it just as it sounds, but nobody else can really hear it. That is correct.
Yeah, because it seals it off, so it's just a really cool technology.
And
my mom would appreciate that growing up.
And the disc clavier too. Also, you can. With the keyboards, you can have it so it doesn't generate its sound. Amplify it into the air. In other words, you can have it so you can hear it in headphones or headsets, but when you play it, nobody else standing next to you can actually hear it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then. And then the piano. Even the acoustic pianos. There's electro and mechanical properties in there. The disc claviers are they're basically player pianos. They're digital streaming player pianos. It's a regular concert grand, but then there's a mechanism that's added to all the keys, and you can stream radio stations. So you can listen to the Burt Bacharach channel or the Elton John channel or whatever type of music you like, and it is a live instrument playing in your living room, playing piano sounds, and that's probably one of the biggest drawbacks of grand pianos is they're beautiful pieces of furniture, but they don't get played all the time. Probably a lot of them just sit and look beautiful in people's living rooms, but if you can have it, just flip a switch and select a song and have it play for you every single night at dinner time, it allows people to actually utilize it more, utilize that big investment.
Call it the world's largest iPods.
Exactly. And that's what it is.
Yeah.
Even that technology is used by music teachers around the world, because let's say a music teacher in UK has a student in New York City. The student can go through a piece of music, and through the way this device works, tell the student to play, and then the teacher's piano starts moving, and it has all the subtleties, all the nuance. It's not just a bang bang player piano where everything just pounds at the same level. It's all the subtleties and nuance. So the teacher can hear exactly what the student's doing, and then the teacher can play back a couple bars so the student can hear how it's supposed to go. And we're actually doing education, cross-continent with these things. So it's really opening up tons of opportunities for people to access teachers and knowledge that they never would have been able to do before.
Do you think, technology is ever going to get to the point where, just equations and math and just analyzing what a student does, that it'll ever get to the point where it's as personalized as having a teacher, but, where Yamaha would build a system that would teach you, start to finish?
Boy, that's a good question. Music is so much emotion and passion. It's the technical part. Yeah, we can, you can train that through the internet, and like we just discussed. Will it replace it completely? I'm not sure. We can't transmit the human emotion We can transmit the results of it. So, you know, how you play a phrase on a piano and subtly and stuff like that. But there's an emotional connection that goes a little bit deeper than the technology even. So it can get you close, but I'm not sure it could ever 100% replace it. So you're still going to want to go to a live concert instead of listening to it at home eventually.
Well, yeah, I mean, and so when you go to a live concert, obviously you're going there. You know, there are hundreds of people in the room. You know, and you have the the conductor, and you're watching the visual experience. The artist is standing up on stage, and so you know, I mean, obviously there's just some things or some components that will never really be replicated. I think, but you can get close. you know.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, and we're getting closer every day.
Exactly, but there's still, I mean, I don't think we'll be there. So, well, you have a chance to go to see an Elton John concert. You want to go, or do we just, you want to listen to a recording of it? No, I want to go to the live thing. Although I've seen they have these things now where I've seen them advertised a lot, and when you go to movie theaters. They have these things where you can actually go and see an opera at the Met live, and you're sitting in the movie theater and you're seeing it up on the screen. I don't know if you've seen those. They have those, and that's kind of close to it, but still, it's not. You're still not sitting in the Met. If you're sitting in the Met, it's still a slightly different experience. So we're going to find things that are
actually. It's funny that you bring that up because we did last year was Yamaha's 125th anniversary.
It's a Phantom.
And we had a special concert with Elton John, and he was out here at Disneyland.
Yeah.
And he played a concert corporately for us. We hooked it up through the Disclavier and through the internet, and I was over at my friend's house. We had it. We were watching the concert on television, and his grand piano was playing Elton John's keyboard. So we had the music and the band all going through the stereo system. The piano was actually Elton John's motions and movements, and it was right there in the living room. And we're watching it on on streaming video, and it was very cool. It was a lot of fun.
I can imagine.
Not as good as being.
Yeah, but I can imagine. I mean, you're actually hearing Elton John being replicated. But yeah, and he's like, I mean, of course, that experience in itself was something I would think to be very unique and definitely interesting. But as you say, when you're at the convention center and you're live and outdoor with Elton John doing his thing, there's that extra little something that is hard to quantify, and maybe never will be. But you can really, as you say, get close to it.
Well, if we can get more people into the experience, that's what we're trying to do. Is just get more people to be able to enjoy.
Yeah.
The awesome music.
Now, and of course we're talking about classical and we're talking about contemporary, but even the most modern of today's. All right, Ben, pick a music group that you like, that's really contemporary today that you listen to. Who would that be?
Wrong question. YouTube. I don't know.
I mean, I know you listen to a lot of music. I mean, there's a lot of contemporary titles. I mean, I'm sure they use musical instruments, and I'm sure some of them are Yamaha.
Oh yeah, it's musical instruments, and also what seems to be having more and more is the auto-tune and the synthesizers are getting more and more love, especially in the popular songs.
Exactly. Well, with one guy with a Yamaha synthesizer can make himself sound like dozens of instruments. I mean, it can make him sound like you have a whole concert. A symphony behind you, just with that one guy.
Well, and that's what a lot of guys are doing. I mean, one of the companies that Yamaha owns is a company called Steinberg, and they make editing software, and it's unbelievable what people can do. So you can play a piano track, then a drum track, and then you can lay down a synthesizer track. You actually almost don't even need a musical instrument to write a symphony song recording. It'd take you forever to do it, but these guys are getting so good that these musicians a lot of them are becoming more engineers rather than just technical instrument playing. So it's really kind of interesting to see the blend of musicianship and technology and engineering all mixed together, and that's what we're listening to today. The stuff that's out there.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that are available to not only to musicians but also to consumers in general, and to enjoy all these things. Let's talk about some of the devices or receivers and equipment that allow people to play and listen to these amazing sounds. And one of them, I guess we'll start out with the audio-visual startup. I think you have one called I mentioned it briefly, this Avantage sound statement.
Avantage.
Avantage. What is that? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's it's 5 AV receivers, so these are surround sound receivers, and that's for the AV division. In my division, that's our core product line is AV receivers.
Okay.
You know, the television is the core, the centerpiece of most people's home, and so we doctor that up a little bit with some spectacular surround sound to go along with it. And this Avantage line was developed, I'd say 5 years ago, and we decided to do something different. Normally the way technology manufacturers work, I think not even just in AV, but all across, is you take last year's model and then you add the new technologies that come out this year. You update a few things and make it faster and smoother and sleeker, and then you put a new model number on it and send it out next year. So it might be a little bit less money, it'll have more technologies, customer gets a better value, you know, it's a win-win. And then you do that the next year, and then the next year, and then the next year. Well, eventually you get to a point where, you know, updating last year's model, which was an update, decided it was time we were going to take a step back. And we actually, normally in our business, it's about a 1-year cycle for our AV receivers. So we come out with updated models about once a year. We actually took 2 years to develop the Avantage lineup. And that was, we gave the engineers a break. We took away any time constraints, and we just started building stuff from the ground up, from the chassis, the heat sinks, the power supplies, the circuit design, the circuit components that were put in there. So when we finally did introduce this after 2 years of development, it's absolutely something that's special in our industry, and it's the best of what Yamaha can do. You know, with our over a century's experience of building the instruments and learning sound, this is just the pinnacle of what we've ever, what we can possibly do.
So this is the RX-A 40 series. Is that what these are?
Yeah, the brand new models of the RX-A, it'd be the 740, 840. It ends in the 40, and it's quite a line because it goes from like $600 is the entry of that line. Now these are kind of high-end pieces, right, and they go up to $2,000.
Okay. And what makes what makes them stand out? What makes the Avantage? I mean, obviously you did it from the ground up. What are they offering that you can't get with the other AV equipment?
First of all, it is sound quality. So the sound quality is absolutely spectacular because everything's been redone. So just sound quality right off the bat, it's as good as you can possibly get. But since we had so much time, people are not just sticking in their living room and watching TV. They're moving around the house. So we have they're all multi-zone receivers. So that means I can put a set of speakers out in the backyard, some outdoor speakers shaped like a rock or something like that. I can put speakers in the hallway so I can listen to music in the hallway. The higher end models, people are distributing video around the house. So I'm sitting there, watching the Super Bowl in the main theater or in my main living room, and I want to go out in the kitchen and fix some snacks for halftime. I turn on the TV in the kitchen, and I'm streaming everything that's coming into the main room. And that's really quite a technological feat. It sounds like a simple thing just to be able to distribute audio and video around the house, but the methods that we're using are pretty revolutionary because we're able to do audio and video and give the customer sound reinforcement. And then probably one of the harder parts is making this I mean, it does a ton of stuff, but making it so it's simple to use and so people can actually use it.
Yeah, you don't need to go out and
where
take
we
a
put
class.
A lot of engineering resources.
You don't need to get a degree to actually start using these things. Okay, so although they're sometimes they're more technically complicated, but are simple.
So you'd recommend not reading the manual?
Yeah.
That's what I got from that.
Yeah. Now you also have the 5000 series. Is that the next step above the ones that with the 40? Is that something?
Yep,
you would
that's yeah, we call those separate. So receiver has all the processing and switching and control and all the amplifiers built into one box, so it's nice and convenient.
Is that something you would see in a home?
Separate. Pardon?
Is that something that you would see in the home?
Yeah, that's normally what you see, or you'd put it in the closet or something like that. But when you get to the 5000 series, we call those separate. So the amplifier is completely separate from all the processing, and that allows us to do some pretty crazy things. You look at that CX5000 and the amplifier, the MX5000. It's 11. That amplifier has 11 amplifiers built in, so I can power 11 speakers.
So
I have 11 full-size speakers, which
11.2.
Which is pretty cool. You'd put that in your living room, and it sounds unbelievable.
Yeah, 11.2.
Which it should. There's 11 speakers in your living room.
Yeah, I would think so. It's 11.2, so that's that means 2 subwoofers as well, 11 speakers?
And dual subwoofers.
Oh, my God.
But when you have separates, you can get a little bit creative. So we can actually, we have a lot of guys that are buying 2 of the amplifiers, so you actually have 22 channels of amplifiers.
Oh, my God.
And so you do the best home theater in the world. You do 11 channels in the theater, and it's breathtaking. But now I was mentioning about that multi-room, that zone 2 and zone 3. I can have 7 speakers run around through the backyard. So if I got a big backyard with a pool, I can put 7 speakers there. I can put speakers throughout the house. So I got little in-ceiling speakers to play background music throughout the whole home.
That is absolutely amazing. Listen, we're at the bottom of the hour, so we have to take a quick break, and we'll continue on. Yamaha is our guest this hour. We got lots more to talk about. Stay with us.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. Their mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website at www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Oh, hello. This is Marty Winston for Computer America with a News Tips Bulletin Review of the Tenda Wireless AC1200 Wi-Fi dongle. And by dongle, we mean it plugs into USB and just sits there. Now, if you build a lot of PCs, and we're building yet another Windows PC, and you don't feel like dragging a wire across the floor to hook it up to the internet, you can get a USB dongle for Wi-Fi, and we picked up a Tenda W900U wireless AC1200 dual band, that's important, USB adapter, meaning 802.11.AC is ours just by plugging it in and installing its drivers. That second 5 gigahertz band allows to suck the internet dry with downloads and updates. So we decided to lose a little weight. W-A-I-T, weight. It works. The Tenda wireless AC1200 Wi-Fi dongle lets you plug into higher speed Wi-Fi and get done sooner. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour, and we are here with Yamaha, Phil Shea, and we're talking about their Avantage, the 5,000 products that you have here. And you know, just looking at the front page here, you have actually a lot of compatibility with Sirius, Rhapsody, Spotify, that kind of thing. What can people expect when they buy something like this? Like, did you just go for what was most popular, or what was simplest? Like, you know, what applications work with this kind of AV equipment?
Yeah, typically we go with what's the most popular, and it's an international thing even now. You know, people are doing, you know, Spotify is an international, Rhapsody's kind of a U.S. thing. So we build, if customers want it, we try to figure out a way to get it into the device. I mean, you know, we were talking about channels and multi-zones and all that stuff, you know, and I'm glad you're finally bringing it up. This is a you know, a web-based device that has just basically unlimited content.
When you say
vTuner, we have the internet radio that we use, the internet radio service called vTuner. That's over 12,000 radio stations worldwide, and that's fun to get lost up in that thing. You just start scrolling around, you pick a country and a genre, and you can just find all kinds of really cool stuff.
So when you say
Spotify is actually one of the newer ones that we've added this last year.
Okay. I was just wondering, you know, because I'm looking at just, you know, the actual unit of it. Is there like an app that you control with your phone, not from a tablet, from a computer, something like that?
Yep. There's the AV controller app, and that is that's another special part of the Avantage line, is the actual control. You know, I'd mentioned that, you know, the hard part is making the stuff easy to operate. The AV controller app that we have is actually it controls the last 7 generations of Yamaha receivers. So we have one control platform that we developed a long time ago, before smartphones even existed. And when they came along and apps started happening, we look, oh, guess what? We just happen to have a platform that is just works perfect for this. So everything is app controls. You know, we were talking about, you know, having zone 2, you know, where we go out and have some speakers outside. Well, 5-10 years ago, that used to be a real expensive proposition, because you'd have to pay an integrator to get you a touch panel controller and program it with a custom program to do 2 ways, so I could, you know, if I did want to listen to Pandora, you know, that's a 2-way communication. I need to know what artist, what genre, look at the album art and all that. That used to get really expensive. You know, that was at least $2,000 just for the control, so I could put, you know, a $300 set of speakers in the backyard. So only the rich people were getting that fun control. But now with the free app that's available, all I do is connect a second set of speakers, wire them up, and then from the app I have full 2-way metadata control from anywhere in the home network. It just gives so much more opportunity for customers to do cool things at home.
Now, Phil, I'm just kind of curious. You know, you being who you are, which is the National Training Manager for the Yamaha Corporation. Do you have all of these in your home to play with? I mean, yeah. How do you learn? How do you learn about all this stuff? You know? Yeah.
Well, I have racks of equipment sitting at my desk, so for 8 hours a day, I have access to that. And bringing stuff home is I do have a listening room, so my office / listening room. That's where the good stuff goes.
Yeah.
My problem is I'm a little bit too close to the technology. So when stuff gets rolled out this year and it's brand new and it looks really, really cool, I'm already hearing rumors about technologies for next year.
Oh.
So I sit on the edge and I wait, like everyone else does, and then see, oh boy, there is going to be something coming out next year. And so I can't have this year's product. I got to wait till next year's product before I bring it home and,
but you
and rewire everything. So,
yeah, but you're working for Yamaha. Working for Yamaha must have its perks. I mean, they got to say, okay, well, you can try this, you can have this, and then when we get something newer, we can just trade it in, you know, or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's what many of our single people do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
More of the married folks like myself, you have to think twice before you swap out the main controller in the home theater room.
Because of all the wires. But
well, if the remote control is a little bit different and the button's not in the right place, sometimes it's just easier to keep that room static and then just play around with the rest of the stuff throughout the home.
But with network integration and things, aren't they? A lot of these things are becoming more and more wireless, so you don't have to worry about direct wiring and you can place them. I know, for example, in our home here, the person who built the home actually put all these speakers and wires and into the walls and everything. And I said to my wife, hey, it's 2014. You don't need that. You can do everything that was doing, but do it completely wirelessly and have different music playing in different rooms, and you don't need to have those dedicated connections that you had maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, there's still a sound quality thing. Everything's moving that way for sure, and that people love the convenience of that, and that's a reality. There's still a sound quality with hardwired connections. A speaker that's wired directly to the amplifier is inherently going to have a better sound than something that's run through Bluetooth or through Wi-Fi or through the Wi-Fi network for that matter.
Well,
audio through Wi-Fi is not the best thing in the world. I mean, we all do it, and I stream stuff all day long. But for an audiophile level, the real hobbyist tweak person, there's some timing issues, some jitter and clocking issues.
Well,
with Wi-Fi actually.
And I think you bring up a good point, and that is there are some people out there that will never. I mean, there's some people who still want to listen to analog, vinyl records because they have a quote unquote
exactly.
warmer sound. Or I want tubes in my amplifier. Because you lose something in that digital. You can't please every last person out there, but I would say for the majority of the people out there who listen to music, for the entertainment portions and are not, living on every single tiny note and the quality, I think for the average or even above average person, wireless and the convenience of these things are going to be more than sufficient.
I agree with you 100%. I can guarantee that every engineer in Japan is working on better ways to deliver that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's happening. It's really opening up the door. The acceptance of Wi-Fi and wireless technologies, and the way the public has captured onto it now and grabbed onto it. It's not a technology thing; it's a necessary thing.
Right.
It's not optional to have Wi-Fi in your house anymore. So.
Yeah.
Now customers are finally going, wow, I could do that.
Yeah.
Mr. Manufacturer, you can build something to do that, and it's really exciting. It's fun at this time for us.
Yeah, and the other thing here is that, this is a good way to segue into this, is that with your soundbar technology, I mean, you now have the ability to make speakers where there are no speakers. I mean, and that's what you're doing. I mean, you can literally. I mean, people had to hardwire surround sound and have the speakers physically. Now with these sound bars that you've come up with, you don't have to have physical speakers anymore to get the same effect. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and that's absolutely crazy. And that's why anyone you talk to, you give them a surround sound. I can bring them over here. I can bring you guys over here, and we set you in here, and I can play some soundtrack. You'll be blown away. There's no one has walked out of this room going, "Oh man, I didn't really care for that surround sound so much." Everyone loves the surround sound, but there's some hurdles to get to it, and it's running those wires and running speakers around the place.
Yeah.
And that's why the sound bars are the fastest growing segment in our industry. It's because of the simplicity of it. We have a couple technologies. We have our virtual surround, so we have 4 or 5 models that use a virtual surround. So it works on psychoacoustics. It actually was developed by the military back in the 70s and 80s. And it was a way for fighter pilots. It was actually developed by Hughes, was one of the pioneers in Hughes Aircraft. It was a way to draw the pilot's attention to certain areas of the cockpit. So instead, when he's in a battle situation, and someone shoots a missile at him, in movies you always just see a beeper go off. And so, well, the guy's already stressed out. He's got people shooting at him, and he's trying to fight the bad guys and all that. And then the beeper goes off. Well, that's not so helpful. So what they did is they developed a way with this pair of stereo headphones to actually draw the pilot's attention to the area of the cockpit that required it. So they could make the beep tone come out of the lower right. It would sound like it's coming from his lower right. Or maybe he needs to look up and back to the left, so they can make the tone come out of left to the right, which at the time, this was extreme cutting-edge technology to be able to fake the brain out to put directionality front, back, up, and down in a pair of stereo headphones. Well, fast forward 30-some years, we're doing that with high-resolution digital audio into a room environment that we don't even have any control over. And we're doing 7 channels of high-resolution digital audio, and we're placing sounds around the room. So when you're sitting in your couch, you're hearing up, down, left, right, back, front, and it's just amazing how far that technology has come in the last 30 years. And that's the virtual technology.
Now that's amazing. Now is the shape of the room? I mean, how does it know? Because basically the soundbar bounces the sound past your head and then reflects off the back of the wall. I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, well, now we're going the next technology up. So the virtual, I can set you out in a parking lot and you put you in a chair and you're going to hear surround sound. It doesn't care about the room.
Okay.
When we get into our higher products, our sound projectors, that's another technology all year, and that relies on the room, and that's what you're thinking here. And that we'll have anywhere from 8 to 16 to 42 little 1-inch speakers, depending on which model and how high up in the line you go. And we can actually steer beams of sound. So if we want a sound to come from the right side of the room, the sound projector will actually generate a beam of sound and bounce it off the wall on the right-hand side of the room and reflect it to your listening area. Now, being able to do that, and then it bounces the surround, so you want a sound to come from behind you, it bounces it off the right rear corner, then the back wall, and then reflect it back towards the couch again where you can hear it, so it sounds like it's coming from behind you. It generates these beams of sound, but that technology is just amazing in itself, but it's depending on the room. Do I have a rectangle room or a square room? Is it big or small? It depends on where the angles are. We had to develop a calibration system so someone could actually use it. So we have this microphone calibration. We set it up in the listening area on a tripod. You hit the go button, and it sweeps around the room. You can actually hear beam of sound sweep the whole room, and it figures out where all the angles are. And when it's all done, and it recalibrates and retimes and re-equalizes all the beams, and when you sit down and close your eyes, you think you're listening to 5 speakers. It sounds like 5 dedicated surround speakers in your room, and it's so much fun.
Now,
I love showing that off.
I know. Now, but the virtual one, you said it doesn't really care the shape of the room or everything like that. It sounds easier to set something like that up. Because you don't
absolutely.
You don't have to do any kind of a configuration. I assume that it just basically and you still get the feeling that that there are speakers behind you or to the left and to the right of you.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
so I guess the more expensive way, which requires you to, I guess, to tell it the configuration of the room, is that somehow better because it's a lot of extra work that you don't have to do? Is it somehow better?
Yeah. You tend to get more pinpoint with the virtual. You get all the directionality, but maybe not pinpoint. So, like, let's say there's someone drops a quarter on the cement, and it's supposed to come out of the right-hand speaker. Well, you don't have a right-hand speaker because it's virtual.
Right.
It will sound like it's coming from over there. It'll draw your attention over there. With the sound projector, you can pinpoint within 3 inches of where that sound. You could point across the room with your eyes closed, pinpoint to where that sound is. So it's a little bit more accurate. But there's there's one other thing that we're finding many of our customers have been using in the sound projector. We have another mode in there that's called our target beam. So instead of bouncing the sound around the room so you get full surround sound, I mean, which is great for watching movies and stuff, sometimes people just want to watch TV at night. So you hit the button on the remote control, and it takes all 5 beams and points them to a single point in the room. And hopefully it's your easy chair or something like that, or if it's in your bedroom. And when it points all 5 beams, then you just use the left and right cursor, and you steer all 5 beams to the left or to the right. And here's the amazing part. So if you and your wife are going to bed, she wants to read, you want to watch Sports Center or whatever and catch up on the scores, I can target beam my side of the bed. 3 feet away from me, the sound level is 1/4 the level. So I can sit there and listen to the sports and hear all the dialogue and get all the scores. She can be 3 feet on the other side of the bed reading a book, and she's hearing it at 1/4 the level that I'm hearing it at. So it's a lot of fun. You know, if you got older people in the home and stuff like that that need to have it cranked up, and we have people that sell them just on that feature.
Well, let me ask you this.
It's pretty cool because
Let me ask you this: you have a lot of different of the sound bars. Now, if you want to go and get something, you have in all different price ranges. I think the YAS 103 is the newest one. Sells for about $300. Would that be the one that again, virtual? Would that be the would you say the best one to start with, or is it that you have other ones here? 201.
Yeah, that'd be the virtual one. It kind of, one of the things that we need to kind of know is how you're going to use this, because a lot of people love the simplicity because of the 103, it's an optical cable. So you just take an optical cable out from the back of the TV, plug it into the bottom, you drop it on the shelf, and it works great. But sometimes people want a little, and that has a built-in subwoofer. It has 2 subwoofers that are built in. So everything is self-contained. Plug in the wall in one wire.
Right.
Some people have a little bigger room, so they might need a little bit more bottom end, or they prefer more bottom end. Then you kind of step up the line, and then you get wireless subwoofers. So you get the same sound bar, kind of, it's kind of the same thing, but we enhance that with a wireless sub. So now we get more thump and more pound. How are we going to wall mount it? Some people have their stuff mounted on the wall. Some people are tabletop mounts. And one of the other things we're finding out now, TV manufacturers are making the bezels smaller and smaller, so there's less frame around the picture.
Yes.
We need to be careful a little bit on, you can't just drop a soundbar in front of every TV that's out there, because you either going to block the infrared control, because that's usually where the sensor's at, or you can even block some of the pictures. So you gotta, you gotta be aware when you're choosing the right soundbar for you. The form factor. Do you need a subwoofer, or is a built-in sub good enough? Does it need to be super thin? Is it going to be wall mounted? So that's kind of why you're seeing a lot of choices there.
Yeah, exactly. But it sounds to me like the entry level of the YS 103, which is the newest one, for the average small room, is going to it'll give you the full surround sound feeling, and
it gives you full on surround sound, tons of bass for when you look at it, where's the bass coming from? It's pretty amazing. It's Bluetooth.
Wow. But it works with any it'll work with any TV. flat screen TV?
Pretty much. Today, pretty much every it needs to have an optical output or a digital output of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty hard to find it. It has to be a pretty bargain television not to come equipped with that anymore.
I think what I need to do is I need to experience one of these. I'm going to have to see if we can get you to send me a YS103 so I can experience this for myself, and then have you back again when we and talk about it. So
I have connections. I can probably hook you up.
Okay, I'll need you to hook me up. Thanks. All right.
Especially the way you sang the Yamaha song, so that was worth something right there.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my gosh. So again, the soundbar, and the thing is that they're affordable. I mean, you have different prices. They're affordable. So, but if people, even with the most basic system, you don't have to sit there with the two speakers behind you and run the wires under the carpet, and and then have the two on the left, right, and then have the here. It's a simple little elegant sound bar, and just it sits basically under the under the TV or in front of the TV. Really,
right.
The TV's table mounted. It sits and it's unobtrusive. You really don't even really see that it's there. And yet it has this amazing ability to send things behind you, and I have not experienced that, and that's exactly why I want to give this a try, because I know it's been out for a while, and I'm saying I need to try this. So definitely we'll get this and then report back to it. And again, price ranges. I mean, they start at like a little under $300, right? So they're certainly affordable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
the thing is, it's getting TVs are getting so much better with 4K video and all kinds. That's getting spectacular. The sound is getting worse every single year because they're getting smaller and thinner. There's no place to put. The laws of physics. You got to have something to move the air, and there's no place to put the speakers. You get some of these really nice-looking televisions, and you can hardly understand what the news broadcaster is saying because the sound is no good.
Yeah.
And so that's another reason for the popularity of soundbars. And it's people they got the great picture. They need to have something they can hear. Why not step it up just a tick more and get something that's a lot of fun?
And it's so unobtrusive. I mean, basically it's one little unit. It's one long little unit that just fits under your TV. And I assume this will work with whether you have a 50-inch TV or a 42-inch TV. It works. It really doesn't matter, right? The size of this particular one.
They kind of go from 32 on up.
Yeah.
Once you get to a 65 or 70-inch TV, we do have a bigger one, the YS152, which happens to be a larger format. It's kind of the same thing as the 103. It's just about a foot longer, and actually cosmetically it looks a little better underneath the bigger television even. So
right, but for 50,
you have choices for that also.
Yeah, but for a 50-inch TV, you're fine, I would think, right? So that's, so that's what I'm going to ask for the YS103 and give that a shot. We're almost out of time here. If people want more information, of course, you can go to the Computer America website, and just under the Archives pull-down menu, go to our show notes page, and you'll see today's show, July 31st, and you'll see the Yamaha. You'll see the link to the Yamaha website. It's up there. You can check it out for yourself, and that will always be up there. So if you're not sure where to go, just go to computeramerica.com. We have the link directly to Yamaha. And, of course, you'll be able to see, if you missed any portion of the show, you can always watch it and listen to it at computeramerica.com, all under our archives. Our video archives page will be up, and, of course, our streaming audio at the Blog Talk Radio website. All the links are at computeramerica.com for you to see. So if you missed any portion of the show, you certainly can listen to it again. Hey, Phil, really, I want to thank you so much for being with us here tonight. Always having a pleasure having you on the show, because there's always so many new things to talk about. It's just you don't rest on your laurels.
You can't. There's too much fun stuff that we still put in this. We gotta keep moving. We can't get static.
Absolutely. Well, I'll have either myself or my producer will be in touch with you to get that soundbar sent to us so we can hook that up and give that a try. Looking forward to that. Phil, thanks.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that. So talk you through it too. See how you think.
Absolutely. Listen, Phil, thanks again so much for being with us here on Computer America tonight. It was a pleasure having you here.
It was very good. Thanks again, Craig. And Ben, thank you for showing up.
All right.
No problem. My pleasure.
All right. Take care. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
All right, we'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye-bye. All right, there you go. Yamaha. Again, Phil Shea, Yamaha, here with us, talking about their amazing sound bars and their I always say I'm talking about an ice cream product when I say this, a sound bar. Delicious sound bars from Yamaha and the Avantage line of audio-visual amplifiers. Check all of them out. We have the websites, so you can check them out for yourself. Yamaha.com, or of course just go to our website. All the information is there with you. Coming up in hour 2, I'm going to have computer and technology news, and also brought to you by Slimware Utilities, and also Marty Winston's editor of the News Tip Bulletin is going to have another News Tip Bulletin for us. And again, just an alert, tonight is the last night for our Logitech contest. That's right, it ends at midnight tonight. So if you haven't entered, you still have a little over an hour to get your entry in. And by the way, I've been told by Logitech this is the last time we're doing this. It's going to be a refresh of some of the prizes. So I'm not going to tell you which ones. But we're going to have different prizes starting in the new Logitech contest, which will start on Monday, August the 4th. But at midnight tonight, Eastern Time, we will close it down. And then over the weekend, we'll draw the 3 winning names. And then on Monday, August the 4th, we'll announce the 3 big winners. Head over to our Computer America website. Just go to our contest page. It's right under the first pull-down menu. You'll see it, news, streaming, chat room, and contest. Click on it. You'll see all the contests. Our show reminder winner contest that's coming up tomorrow. We do that every Friday. We give away a really nice prize from Logitech. It's a glass trackpad. That's right, an amazing little device. So worth about $80. Check out all of our contests at ComputerAmerica.com under our contest page. Enter in all of them. You'll have a lot of fun doing so. Remember, they're all private. We don't give your information to anyone unless you win. Then we'll give Logitech your contact info so they can mail you your prize, but that's about it. So as I said, enter in all of our contests. You'll have a lot of fun doing so. And who knows? You might win something really, really nice. Okay. All right. We got more stuff coming up here on the Computer America Show. And we're coming to you live on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network, and we will be right back. I just got booted out of the chat room some room. Okay.
Oh, my bad. That was my fault.
I'm coming back in. We got more news coming up. Stay with us.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Tech news, tech talk, and beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@ComputerAmerica.com.
Hello and welcome to Hour 2 of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
Okay, so tell me, how did you kick me out of the chat room?
I didn't kick you out of the chat room.
What happened? Oh, it just, some reason, all right, well, I'm back. I say it automatically restored me, so that's nice. That's a nice feature. Fortress says that it was a ping timeout. I don't think so, because that's never happened to me before. So I'm not sure what it is. But anyway.
Oh, those crafty pings.
Yeah, it's the crafty pings. Let me just do a couple of things here. Of course, we just had Yamaha on the show, and you can listen to it, as I said, on our video archives or the audio archives. Just under our archives pull-down menu, you can see everything there, so you can listen to any part of the show if you want to, if you missed it, or any of our past shows are always archived there. And of course, our live video streaming page is up, and of course that's brought to you by Otherworld Computing. Visit them at www.maxsales.com. And what I wanted to tell you about, I was excited because Charles would have found this really interesting because he has a Mac Mini, and so this would have hit home even more for him. But I guess I'll mention it tomorrow. But basically, this was just released. Maxsales.com, OWC. They just released the new headless Mac video adapter. Now, I don't know if you know this, that if you try to access a Mac Mini, because Mac Minis are very, very small, and usually people don't have them in the same room. They put them off, as a little server away to another area. But you have to have, on that Mac Mini, you have to have a display screen attached to it, okay? And if you don't, if you remove, and of course the screen, it's big and it generates heat, and so most people don't have it. And if you don't, evidently the Mac Mini doesn't respond well, especially if it's attached via the screen sharing. The graphics response is basically terrible. Now they have an option called adaptive quality, which you can select in the menu bar, but that helps a bit, but text is still like fuzzy. When you have a pull-down menu, the text will be fuzzy and then it'll clear up. This is just not an ideal way of doing it. It's just not an elegant way of doing it. But evidently, as of yesterday, OWC has the answer. If you check out the newer tech headless Mac video adapter, and it will fix this problem. Basically, it tricks the Mac Mini into thinking that you have a monitor attached to it. It's just, all of this is a little dongle, all right? But now it fools the Mac Mini into thinking there's a monitor attached to it. You just plug it in, and that's it. And now when you go over to your remote area, everything is instantaneous, just like it should be. So this is a very cool product. I went to find out what the price of it is. I'm sure it's going to be very inexpensive, but it's so new that it's not even up at the Mac Sales website yet, but I'm sure it'll be there in the next day or so. I just got the announcement. So check it out. If you have a Mac Mini and you're tired of having a monitor, having to have a monitor hooked up to it all the time, and it's sequestered away in a closet somewhere, well, guess what? The headless Mac video adapter now available at owcmacsales.com. Check it out and get one. I'm sure it's very inexpensive, and it's going to make your Mac Mini perform like you want it to when you're using the sharing ability. Okay. Okay, so that said, I think we should. Anything else you want to mention before we get started on doing our news stories, Ben? And we have quite a number of them.
No, I think we're good.
Okay, well, let's do it. What the heck? Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. Visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system for free. That's right. Everything at the Slimware Utilities website, completely free. It's not a freemium model. It's not a crippled version. It's completely free. Download them all. They will do exactly what they say to do. You'll be very happy that you downloaded them and have them available. And you'll thank us for it. SlimwareUtilities.com. Okay, this very first story from Maximum PC, our buddy Paul Lilly. Evidently, USB has a bad side. Some security researchers discovered a fundamental security flaw in USB, and there's no fix in sight for this. He goes on to say, oh great, as if it wasn't bothersome enough knowing that all our online communications are susceptible to government spying with very little we can do about it. Now we've come to find out that just by having a USB port, there exists a pretty serious security risk every time we plug in a compatible peripheral. The problem is that virtually any of the millions of USB devices out there can be reprogrammed for malicious purposes, and there doesn't appear to be much we can do about it. Security Research Labs in Berlin has given a name to the fundamental flaw in USB called bad USB. Okay. At issue is that every USB device has a controller chip that controls the USB connection to other devices. Those controllers have firmware, and if reprogrammed, which is easy to do since the USB IF focused more on compatibility than security, a benign device like a keyboard or mouse can suddenly turn evil. An evil mouse. Okay. A device can emulate a keyboard and issue commands on behalf of the logged-in user, for example, to exfiltrate files or install malware. Such malware, in turn, can infect the controller chips of other USB devices connected to the computer. The device can also spoof a network card and change the computer's DNS settings to redirect traffic. Unfortunately, there are no known defenses against this or other than not using your USB devices. Wow. Malware scanners can't access the firmware running USB devices, and behavioral detection isn't reliable, but a bad USB device's behavior simply looks like a user plugged in a new device. Once infected, computers and their USB peripherals can never be trusted again. The best analogy so far comes from Extreme Tech, which likens the situation to having unprotected sex. In other words, if you plug your USB device into another PC, you can assume it's been compromised. That's not good.
I mean, it's not good, but I feel like it's using some of the same, security flaws that have been out there for a while. It's like, yeah, it's like where it used to be people were infiltrating companies before by just throwing out a USB drive, out in front of an office building that they wanted to compromise. They'd just drop USB on the ground. Some curious worker would come by, pick it up, wonder what's on it. It could be something, fun to look at or what have you. They plug it into the company computer, take a look at it, open it up, and all of a sudden it's virus all over the place.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's the same thing. If you see a mouse with a USB laying right next to it on the ground, don't pick it up and don't plug it into your computer to see if it works. it could be the same thing. Now, I mean, it may be tempting to find that that keyboard with a USB just someone just left it here on my doorstep. Why would they do that? But it's I mean I personally.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've actually connected USB devices that I didn't explicitly buy.
Yeah, but
Like maybe secondhand stores, because I know a lot of people go secondhand stores to get their keyboards, their mice, and things like that. But I think this would be better in the hands of someone targeting you, and so therefore I don't think a lot of people will be targeted in this kind of security threat.
Now, does it have to be a keyboard that you buy that was tampered with by this nefarious person?
It says that you have to, someone would have to take the device and then reprogram the firmware that would be available on, because many USB devices are just plug and play. You plug it in, and the firmware built into the USB, into whatever USB device you have, automatically starts, sorting files and putting things together, and starts putting things on your computer to let it plug and play. So by reprogramming those, USBs are naturally built for compatibility, not for security.
Yeah.
So your computer's just going to say, oh look, a USB, a USB device. Go ahead, let it do its thing. We're here to help each other work. So just by reprogramming that, you give it almost full access to your computer.
All right. So the bottom line is that you might not, if you buy a keyboard from a used or you go to a Goodwill or something and you find a used keyboard, you might want to be careful. But if you buy a new keyboard at a store and it's still shrink wrapped and bubble wrapped,
like
it's not
where I would no if it's shrink wrapped brand new from the factory, odds are this ain't gonna happen. Right. Where I would see this more happening would be if someone wanted your computer, they would have to have access to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they would take your computer, plug in their hacked, let's say it's a keyboard. They would take their hacked keyboard that they know is tampered with, plug it into your computer that they have access to, and then that would let them change the settings using a keyboard that they had already tampered with.
Yeah, or someone says, "Hey, would you like a keyboard?"
Exactly, and of course you'd say, "Oh, of course, that's a free keyboard. Why wouldn't you?" Okay. But maybe you might want to think twice now.
Yeah, evidently. Okay, you don't know where that keyboard's been. Be careful. Okay. Makes sense.
Much like safe sex, just the same rules apply.
Okay, got it. If you don't know where it's been, don't.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. All right, your turn.
All new Ming to plug and play.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a story here from Engadget, and Greg, were you ever a fan of wrestling?
My father was a big fan of wrestling, and so I would watch matches with him sometime because he,
Now, wrestling as we know it, or wrestling as in Olympic wrestling?
no, it was not Olympic wrestling. It was wrestling. He would, it was like, I remember some of the stars were like Haystacks Calhoun, and they basically were actors who would do this stuff, and
Ah, yes, the
and
'40s.
they
I
would
remember them
get
fondly.
thrown out of the ring, and my dad would think that was very funny, and he'd watch it.
Well, good. Well, good to hear that wrestling hasn't changed much in the past 100 years, and that the WWE network heading to 170 new countries next month. So, apparently, I thought after my generation wrestling would go away, but I've met more grown adults who cannot get enough of wrestling, and and you ask them, half of them say, "Oh, of course it's fake, but it's a performance art. It's entertaining.
Yeah.
I love it. I follow my character." And it's my version of a soap opera. I love it.
Yeah.
It- hmm?
Yeah, I agree. It is like a soap opera. I mean, they're acting. I mean, people could never.
But then the other half
Yeah.
say, no way they're acting. That guy just got his head slammed with a chair. That's not acting. These guys are really hitting each other, and they're really going at each other.
Mhm.
So, there's that split of performance art and, what's really happening. So it's but it apparently it's still going strong. So apparently the WWE Network fan I'm sorry, fans of professional wrestling seem to enjoy WWE's new online network. The company announced during its most recent earnings report that 700,000 subscribers to date, which is a pretty great sum given the service's mere 5-month existence, a relatively young history. So, but WWE doesn't want to stop just there, or doesn't want to stop there. It plans to keep expanding its digital channel to more places. So, to do that, WWE Network will be arriving in 170 new countries
Wow.
on August 12th, including Australia, Hong Kong, Mexico, Singapore, Spain, and the Nordic area. Because, the Nords, they have been asking for that wrestling for so long, and they're finally going to get it.
They're getting tired of Thor, and they want to see some new action. Okay.
Exactly. I mean, everything's just already been told before with the Norse.
Exactly.
So, so in addition to these, WWE revealed its video service. It's also headed to China, Germany, Japan, India, Italy, Malaysia, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates. So apparently it's going everywhere. 170 new countries, 700,000 subscribers in 5 months. That is a huge amount just for a network dedicated to the great lost art of professional wrestling.
Wow. Addison in the chat room says he remembers Haystacks Calhoun. Wow.
Really?
Yeah, he does. Wow. I thought, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, people, I guess, love their wrestling. I don't say they love wrestling. They love their characters because everyone seems to latch onto one. I mean, back when I used to watch it when I was the ripe old age of 7 or 8, it was Stone Cold Steve Austin or Triple H or something like that.
Yeah, Stone Cold, Steve Austin. What wasn't The Rock a wrestler?
The Rock was around that same time too. Kane, Big House.
He was originally a wrestler, right? Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, he went back to wrestling. He was like a wrestler, then a movie actor, then a wrestler. Now he's a movie actor again with Hercules.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking the Big Show, not the Big House. The Big Show. He was always my favorite because he was like 450 pounds, 6'7". He was just come in and just throw people around. It was fun, but yeah, it was just the show or just the story here about how if you can't get enough about the WWE, check out the WWE Network.
Now, is it available? Can you get it like in DirecTV or your cable?
I think it's available online. I think most of like DirecTV, Comcast, and things like that, they have their own wrestling packages. I see them advertised all the time, and you can actually get Premier Wrestling package. But I think the WWE Network is available online.
Okay. All right. Well, definitely have to check it out. They have series. They have Hell in a Cell.
Oh yeah, no, it's Battleground Survivor. it's a whole network dedicated to wrestling.
Wrestling. There you go. Okay, the Wrestling Network. Very cool. Very cool. I'm so glad that that somebody remembers a couple of wrestlers that my father used to watch. So there you go. All right. Well, this next one, Facebook Slingshot now keeps the convo going with reactions to reactions. Okay. This is from Engadget. It's been a little over a month since Facebook unleashed Slingshot, its stab at an ephemeral competitor to Snapchat, so it seems about the right time for it to get its first update. Slingshot now, if you recall, is a unique messaging app that requires you to reciprocate before you get to see what your friends have sent you. So once you see that photo or video, you have the option of sending a reaction shot, which takes up half the screen and is already unlocked, so you don't need to send a reply to view it. With the latest update, you can now react to those reaction shots seen, and they give an example of what it looks like, again without any unlocking necessary. Other updates to Slingshot include the introduction of My People, which is essentially a section of folks you're regularly slinging shots with. It's also now easier to find Slingshot buddies on Facebook and your phone's contacts. So if you weren't intrigued enough to try out Slingshot before, perhaps this new update will be enough to convince you to start slinging. You can download the latest version on both iOS and Androids starting today. There it is. Are you a slinger, Ben?
No.
Would you be tempted?
Oddly enough, Facebook has gotten to that point where it's reached market saturation. Big words meaning everyone does it. So, and when everyone does it, when grandma is on there, the younger generation tends to pull back a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a feeling of, burned out, too much social interaction. Yes, there can be too much social media. Or if it's, just the fact that where it used to be just your friends and, what you're going to do and what you have been doing, now it's, keeping up an appearance so that grandma doesn't, disown you and just writes you out of everything. It's, so Facebook, I'm personally pulling back from it a little bit. It's just, too much social media for me. But I'm sure I'd like to see the subscription numbers for Facebook, regardless of what they do. Be it Slingshot or whatever they're doing. New features, I don't think are going to solve this problem that Facebook is having.
Yeah. One of the comments under this is saying, the guy is saying, "What is this? A digital photography guessing game? That's popular now? Good Lord, I just don't get it anymore."
But again, it's what the kids are doing, and luckily with the internet, what the kids are doing is what matters.
Well, he used to be a kid. Evidently, he's grown up now, and now he just doesn't get it anymore.
As soon as you hit that magical age of 22, 23,
you're out of it.
You lose it.
Yeah. So have you lost it?
I'm starting to. It's just getting further and further away. I'm sure in 5 years I'm gonna be saying whatever the kids are doing these days. Okay. It's starting. It's starting.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of creeping up on you, huh? Okay.
Pretty much.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. So I have one. I actually saw the trailer for today, so I thought it was appropriate that we bring attention to it. And this one from Wired.com, and it's the SpongeBob movie could be the breakout superhero flick of 2015.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Look at these characters. Oh my gosh.
I know, they look awesome. So article says, let's be honest, after a banner year for superhero movies with Guardians of the Galaxy, X-Men Days of Future Past, and Captain America the Winter Soldier, 2015 suddenly looks a bit, dull in comparison. Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice has been pushed to 2016, Ant-Man seems to be off to a rocky start, and Avengers Age of Ultron feels a little familiar at this point. If only there was a superhero movie on its way that seemed fun, inventive, and entirely out of left field. Oh wait, there is one, and it's extremely unlikely you saw this one coming. The trailer for the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. It has arrived online, and not only does it feature the chance to see SpongeBob, Patrick, Plankton, et al. In the real world, quote-unquote, complete with Roger Rabbit SpongeBob-esque messing around with people hijinks, but it also introduces you to SpongeBob and friends as superheroes with suitably strange powers. The trailer is undeniably silly and, unsurprisingly for SpongeBob, downright corny in places. Sure, but it's also a breath of fresh air after feeling the gloomy destruction, frowning, muted aesthetics of the fare we've seen in almost every superhero movie in the last few years. It's almost as if the goofy, off-kilter nature of Guardians of the Galaxy was taken to an extreme that even James Gunn wouldn't dare attempt. It may not rock theaters in the way that presumably Star Wars Episode 7 will, but could it come out with a pleasant surprise in the way that the Lego Movie was? Absolutely.
You said you said the Lego Movie was definitely a movie you had to see.
Did I?
Didn't you say that? Somebody said that. Oh no, maybe that was Nate Evans from Pop.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that sounds right. I actually had a friend that wanted to go see it with his son, and he said he loved it. So, the Lego Movie was, fun, quirky, new, different. So, the Lego Movie was definitely a success. So I guess they're hoping with the new SpongeBob movie, they're hoping for an equal type of success. And if you haven't seen the trailer, it just came out today. It's the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, Sponge Out of Water. This is the second movie. The first one came out a few years ago, and it's kind of nice that they brought up the comparison in the article to Roger Rabbit.
Yeah,
because Roger Rabbit was that blend of real and animation.
That was a cutting edge movie for its day. I mean, it literally had animation intertwined with real actors, and it was no one had ever seen anything like that before when it came out, and it was an amazing
Fun fact.
Yeah.
It is the only movie that you will see Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse in the same movie.
Because
they're copyrighted by two different companies. One's Disney, one Warner Brothers.
But they evidently got them to
Disney and Warner Brothers both agreed to give them all their characters for that movie. So you'll see Foghorn Leghorn, you'll see Daffy Duck, you'll see all the different characters from both studios in that film at all times. Although it was written into the contract that both companies were used. Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse had to receive equal screen time.
Really?
So that's why when he's falling and he has Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse falling right next to him, they both come into screen at the exact same time.
Oh God!
Hey, it's the first and last time it happened, and probably the last time it will happen. But with SpongeBob here, I saw the trailer. It was goofy. It was very SpongeBob-esque. The storyline was a bit weird, but I mean, they're right. It's fun.
Didn't you used to be a big fan of SpongeBob? You used to watch it all the time.
It's weird. SpongeBob came out about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And I was definitely in my cartoon watching prime time, and the episodes that I saw back then, 10 years ago, are the ones that are most often talked about nowadays. I think it's a little feeling of nostalgia, and everyone on the internet, or at least the people that I talk about, are more vocal. But SpongeBob is not a new entity to a lot of people. Well, so seeing this movie come out is strange.
Well, I have watched a couple of the cartoons that you watch now, and they are not for children. I'm sorry, those are cartoons only in the fact that they're animated, but they are really, really.
It's nice though that animation, especially with the development of animation, it's no longer just cartoons are for kids, just like in the same way that video games are for kids. It both have matured in much the same way.
Well, I guess
even if people such as Craig don't want to admit it, animation games, things like that, things that were considered childish at one time, are now suitable for everyone, and indeed even made for everyone.
Well, I remember when I first saw my first episodes of South Park. This is back then when Kenny would die in every episode. I mean, still back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that
and
was.
the aliens, yeah.
That was pretty racy, I thought, for and now they pale by comparison with what you see now on the Cartoon Network.
I don't know. Okay, South Park. South Park was crazy when it first came out, and every once in a while they'll still do something that you're like, are they allowed to do that? I don't think they're allowed to do that, but then they do it anyways. It's South Park definitely led the way for animation to prove it's not just for kids.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when they first could say that a four-letter word, which we can't say on the air here, and then they would start counting. There would be a rolling counter of how many times they said that word.
Got up to like 100 and some odd.
Yeah, exactly. It's because they haven't got permission from the Cartoon Network that they could say that word, and then of course the animators.
They got permission from Cartoon Network. They did not get permission from the FCC. So that was the key difference.
Yeah, exactly. But again, as I said, no, Addison Kenny doesn't die in every episode anymore. They stopped.
Yeah, no, not anymore.
When did they stop doing that? I think the fifth season or sixth.
A couple of seasons ago, they actually had. I know we're completely off topic, but they actually had one of the episodes where Kenny develops cancer.
Oh, gee.
And in the entire episode, they're all worried that Kenny's gonna die. and it's like, oh my God, Kenny has cancer. He needs a bone marrow transplant and so on and so forth. And everyone's all crying and teary-eyed and wondering if Kenny's going to pull through. And then you think back to the previous, 80, 90 episodes where Kenny is, squished by a tree, hit by cars, eaten by wild, rabid animals, and you're like, oh wait, okay.
Okay.
It was weird. So SpongeBob, out of water, Sponge Out of Water. Go check it out. It's definitely worth the 2-minute trailer.
I'll watch it after the show. I'll definitely watch that. Let's see. It can't be as bad as some of those other cartoons. What are some of the ones that I'm talking about now? What is it?
Are you talking about like Family Guy and Robot Chicken and things like that?
No, it's worse than those. It's like a network within a network or something.
Yeah, no, you're thinking of Adult Swim.
Adult Swim, that's it. Adult Swim. Oh my! Well, at least it has the word adult in it, so it's not for kids.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They show that after I think only late night hours too, don't they?
You think that they started where they only came on after 11, like they were 11 p.m. till about 5 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
But then they changed it, and now because they're getting such good ratings, they are now from 8 p.m. All the way until 6 a.m. So they almost have a 12-hour block on Cartoon Network, where it's all Adult Swim.
Yeah, but it is cartoons for adults. There's no you want your 5 or 6 year old to watch that stuff.
Or maybe you do and get them cultured. It'll be fun.
This is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We're doing computer and technology news brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. A dongle that lets you squeeze more connections from hotel Wi-Fi. That's coming up right after another news tips bulletin from Marty Winston. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 120,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy and major car companies filing for bankruptcy, Cover America Auto Care has announced revolutionary, inexpensive mechanical breakdown coverage that is now available to the general public to save consumers thousands on auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for drivers to call who own a vehicle that is less than 10 years old for a free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number is 800-483-2514. Drivers who are covered with this auto protection will not have to pay for a covered repair again. This is the auto coverage now sweeping across America at a fraction of what dealerships charge and is now available to the public by calling today. The number to call is 800-483-2514. 800-483-2514. That's 800-483-2514.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number. 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine Picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MyTV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663. 1-866-663. MyTV. 1-866-663-MyTV.
Hello, this is Marty Winston for Computer America with the News Tips Bulletin Review of the iBolt S Pro 2 Connect. This is one of those things that lets you put a handset in your car, on the dash, on the windshield. It has the same usual broad outline of things: a suction cup, a pivot arm, and a smartphone-sized holder stand. But the iBolt S Pro 2 Connect manages some interesting trickery with good results. The two struts that support the bottom of a device are each topped with rubbery sawtooth ribs, and the strut spacing adjusts from paired right next to each other to about 2 inches apart. Their topside companion adjusts to left, center, or right to stay out of the way of a handset camera. The height adjusts and locks with rear slider tabs to the device dimensions over a range of more than 1 inch, and has a strongly spring-loaded slide for another 1/2 inch of play to grasp the device. The suction cup on the base works alone on any solid surface or with an included solid adhesive disc to allow mounting on a soft dashboard, for example, without distorting it. Bottom line, the iBolt S Pro Connect has handset mounting well in hand. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. 30-ish minutes past the hour. We are doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Silver Utilities. I believe we just did one.
Yeah, I just want to mention, I forgot, I was showing people on the live video streaming page my watch. I got it back, after I got it, and there it is again. And it's both analog and digital too, which is really cool. And Addison said, I don't like thick watches, and he said he agrees. It's actually very, very thin. So I'm excited I got my watch back. After waiting almost 2 months after finding it and having it in my drawer, and then it didn't work right, and so it's repaired now. So.
Well, I'm glad you have been rewatched.
Yes, I've been rewatched. Okay. So yes, we're doing computer news, and we did finish that story about
SpongeBob.
Yeah, and I teased this one from Wired, which is it's my turn to do this one anyway, right? Yes, which is a dongle that lets you squeeze more connections from hotel Wi-Fi, and they're showing a little dongle. It's about the size of a quarter. They have a picture of it. It's very small, and it says Panda Wireless on it. And it says you forked over more than $150 for a decent bedbugs and corpse-free hotel room. Okay, you plop down on the plush duvet and open up your laptop to get online. Of course, you've got to pay for it. But not only do you have to pay for Wi-Fi, it only grants access to one device. What gives? Well, in a day and age when the average household has 4 mobile devices, it feels like a slap in the face. But there's actually a way to get around this problem, and it's probably cheaper than Wi-Fi access costs to begin with. If you plug in a Wi-Fi adapter like the Panda Ultra Wireless and USB adapter, it costs $11, by the way, you can pay just once to get Wi-Fi to all your web-connected gadgets. While your device already has a Wi-Fi antenna, this dongle acts as an access point, rebroadcasting the signal as one that your other mobile device can connect to. That's kind of neat. It's petite enough that you could just leave it plugged into your USB port all the time if you're constantly traveling or keeping it in a pocket of your backpack or messenger bag. Yeah, it's really tiny. Of course, there are other options for getting around lousy one-device-only Wi-Fi access situations too, like using the room's Ethernet connection to create a hotspot using a MiFi, or turning your phone into a Wi-Fi hotspot. But if you don't want to use cellular data, then using a Wi-Fi dongle is a good, cheap option. This is really cool. A little tiny thing gives you multiple Wi-Fi, turns your system to an access point. And it's $11. How can you go wrong with that? $11. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay. Man, I'm not kicking this goal like I want to. Yeah, we have a news story from a website that we don't normally talk about. It's Tech Report.
Mhm.
It's called The Tech Report, PC Hardware Explored. So, they have a quote here from the CEO of Best Buy,
Mhm.
saying that tablets are crashing while PCs are seeing a quote-unquote revival.
Yeah.
So after years of doom and gloom about the PC industry, some people are starting to sing a different tune. In addition to the interview with Walt Mossberg, Best Buy CEO shared some interesting information about PC sales and tablet sales at his store chain. He says, quote, "So we're actually had a revival of the PC business at Best Buy in the first quarter. Part of it is that Microsoft stopped supporting the old version. Windows XP came out of the extended support April 8th, and Best Buy isn't the only company reaping the benefits. Both HP and Intel have enjoyed unexpectedly strong business PC sales this year." But Jolie's talk of a PC revival isn't the most interesting part of the interview. Here's what the executive told them shortly after the above. "The tablets boomed and now are crashing. Dun, dun, dun. The volume has gone down in the last several months, but I think the laptop has something of a revival because it's becoming more versatile. So with the two-in-ones, you have the opportunity to have both a tablet and a laptop, and that's appealing to students in particular. So you have an evolution. The boundaries are not as well defined as they used to be." She went on to clarify that while crashed is a strong word, tablets have been an unbelievable phenomenon, and users may not have a strong incentive to upgrade every generation. So, yeah, analysts have missed the mark about the handheld hegemony slowly choking out the mainstream PC. And as the author points out, as a PC user, he'd say that is music to his ears. So I thought it was just a good time to bring up the old classic debate
Yes.
of, are PCs dead?
No, and they never will be.
You don't think so?
No, they never will be.
I think they will.
Not in our lifetime.
Well, technically ours includes yours and mine.
Yes, I know.
So not in your lifetime. I agree with that.
Yeah.
In my lifetime,
I don't think so. I think PCs are always.
I mean, okay, let's put it this way. In your lifetime, you saw the rise of the PC.
Yeah.
When you were 15 years old, PCs weren't even a thing. So it's not beyond the realm of possibility that PCs could go in my lifetime. PCs will go as soon as the integration is everywhere. Like as soon as everything is powerful enough to run anything, as soon as every surface is built in with a computer, as soon as everything is strong enough to do anything, that's when computers will go. Because right now, home PCs are still the strongest computers you can buy for the money. You know what I mean? Towers and upright computers that sit on your floor, while they're old, clunky, and don't have nearly the pizzazz that say an iPad would, they're still the most powerful machines you can buy for any comparable sum of money. So that's why I think they're still sticking around. Is that sure, tablets are fun, but everyone has one and they do what they want to do. But with computers, you can upgrade them. They're still way more powerful than a tablet or a smartphone can be at this moment. So, as long as PCs still have a niche, PCs will exist. As soon as PCs don't have that niche to fill anymore of that powerhouse, then they're going to go away. But luckily, for the next 10 years or so, that need is still going to be there, where you have that powerful unit.
Yeah.
You have a radio show about this, and you have no opinions?
Get back to me about it. No, because I think PCs, are going to be here for a very long time because you still want something that's substantial on your desk where you can do serious work with the keyboard and all the and all the hardware that plugs into it. I just think PCs are going to be here for a long time to come. I really do.
You say serious work with a keyboard.
Yeah.
Dragon, we've had them on the show. They're not there yet. They're making great strides.
Yeah, I no.
Into talking with things like that. Keyboard is not the only input device that will be available in the coming years.
No, it's not. But I still think, especially if you're physically handicapped, or challenged, obviously, then yeah, you want something like that. But the average person, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
You say the average person. I think it's all in the learning curve. Cell phones used to just have a normal QWERTY keyboard. Thanks BlackBerry, they had that. Now they have a new keyboard that you use swipe texting. Where you take your finger and you drag it along your keyboard, and then that spells out a word.
Mm-hmm. No,
you can text faster. It's been proven on many world records. For speed texting, it's faster to do that than with a traditional QWERTY keyboard.
You know how I text?
Input devices can change over time.
You know how I text?
How do you text? Oh yeah, you talk.
I talk to it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's goofy. But
goofy, it works. Why is that goofy?
Okay, so you talk to text instead of typing.
Yeah, I text because it's short little messages that works. But I'm not going to sit there and talk to my computer when I'm writing a newspaper column or something. No, I'm going to use the keyboard. I've tried it, Ben, and it's just not the same thing. You think differently when you're composing something that's new with a keyboard than if you were to speak it out loud. I've tried it. It's not the same thing.
I'm not doubting that you or I wouldn't have difficulty adjusting to a new input device.
Mm-hmm.
But to say that it's out of the realm of possibility because I don't like it, that is like the red pill in technology.
Well,
that is a blue pill. The red pill sends you down the rabbit hole. The blue pill is sitting on your laurels and say, well, this is the way I like it, so it's not going to change ever.
All right. No, I didn't say it's not going to change ever. It may, and it's possible. It could. People just don't want to learn how.
Technology is great like that, and we've seen it many times before. As soon as something new and better comes out,
yep.
As soon as something objectively better comes out,
mm-hmm.
It doesn't take technology long for it to embrace it.
Yeah, I could see the next generation not even using a keyboard, or maybe next 2 generations it'll be all, spoken words. But sometimes keyboard is necessary because you don't want to speak out loud. What it is you're typing. You want to keep it to yourself, or you're in a crowded room, with other people, and they're all talking to their computers. Well, now that won't work either. So
Well, they have those caps. I think that we were actually going to send Aaron to go check out, where you can actually think and it types for you just by thinking.
Mm-hmm. Well,
again, technology in its infancy will eventually one day not be in infancy anymore. It will be actually developed, defined technology.
Okay. Well, I'm not saying no. I'm.
The speed that technology seems to develop has been shocking, always.
Mm.
Yeah, just look at the internet and what that did for everything.
Yeah.
And look at the speed of processors and stuff like that. It's always been beyond estimation.
Jack in the chat room says that the smartwatch is going to do it all. Okay.
Hey, you know what? If if Intel can fit in 6 years, by 2020 they're planning on having 5 nanometer processors.
Mm-hmm.
If they can fit 3 times the power in a third of the space,
mm-hmm.
What's to say a smartwatch can't do it all?
Maybe.
Never put limits on technology, I guess is what I'm getting at. Every time you say technology will never pass this threshold, you are going to be eating your words.
All right.
Be it 10 years, 20 years down the line.
Keep an open mind. I'll keep an open mind.
But then again, that's what I think a lot of our listeners, I think that's, along with myself, what makes technology so great, is that if you can think it, much like Willy Wonka,
mm-hmm.
you can have it.
That's true. That's true. Another story from Wired. PlayStation unleashes its game streaming service on North America. Did you know this?
Yeah, I did, since I found the article.
The secret to selling gamers on PlayStation Now, says David Perry, is not to tell them what it is. Now, this is not our David Perry, our Carson. This is David Perry. He's the CEO of Gaikai. And he says, we decided not to explain the cloud to people, he said. He's talking about the company's signature game streaming service, now part of Sony's game brand. It doesn't matter where it's coming from or how it works. They're interested, they click, and a game appears. We saw gamers tweeting, what is this magic? Well, evidently, PlayStation Now enters open beta today, allowing all PlayStation 4 owners in selected areas to try the gaming on-demand service. Pull up the menu, choose from 100 different PlayStation 3 games like The Last of Us and Ultra Street Fighter 4, and you'll begin playing them instantly. No download required. The games are running on Gaikai's servers miles away from your console. Now, when Perry founded Gaikai in 2009, experts questioned whether streaming console games was even technically possible. Now the question is, will gamers pay for it? We haven't still, to this day, leveled the playing field with the various streaming services that are out there, Netflix and Spotify and things like that, says Perry. There's no easy way to just get at games, and until we make it as easy as Netflix, we're always going to be in a following role. But for now, PlayStation Now isn't Netflix. It's more like pay-per-view. There's no subscription service where you pay a flat monthly fee and access a library of all-you-can-stream titles, although Perry says it's coming as soon as possible. Subscription is by far the thing that the gamers keep writing to me about, he says. Sony plans to introduce the option during the open beta period. For now, it's an a la carte pricing. You choose a game and then pay anywhere from $2 to $20 to rent it for a few hours or a few weeks. When PlayStation Now's closed beta version introduced these prices in June, the word of the day was insane. Sony's line has been that it is experimenting with prices because this is unexplored territory. They don't know what people will pay to rent streaming games. One slip-up Perry will admit to is inadequately communicating to players what they got for their money. Many PlayStation Now games, for example, not only contain the content you'd get if you borrowed a disc from a friend, but the downloadable extras as well, which can sometimes cost hundreds of dollars if purchased separately. He says they're not comparing apples to apples, he says. This is not just the basic game, it's the game with all the stuff, so that's just confused everyone. The investment publication The Motley Fool also rated PlayStation Now's prices as being too high, but with a caveat. It noted that in other cases, customers seem willing to pay what seemed like exorbitant prices for the convenience of streaming these games. They'll pay $12.99 to stream The Dark Knight Rises on Amazon Instant Video, even though the Blu-ray only costs $9.99. In other words, the convenience of an instantaneous may add more value than the lack of ownership takes away. If that's true of games, then Sony's $380 million acquisition of Gaikai could turn out to be the deal of the century. Okay? This is a long story, but basically, would you pay that kind of money to stream a game, Ben? Because you're the gamer here in the family.
In the family.
Yeah.
What? It's like every family just has a gamer now. It's
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, he's the handy one. He's the gamer. He's the black sheep. No, it's I mean, yeah. It depending on the content of or the quality of the games. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
what I'm saying, the only thing I have to go off of is Netflix, because this is kind of similar. If the content's there and the price is there and the ease of use is there, then people don't mind paying for a good product.
Okay. I mean, basically they're selling time. What they're saying, in other words, you can download this thing almost immediately, instantly, and then have it available. So you don't have to run out to the store or you don't have to buy it, but you're renting it. At the end of the day, when you're finished with it, you don't have it anymore. So, but
And
if
that's gonna appeal to some people.
yeah, because
But I
some
think there's
games,
going to be a separate camp that enjoys. I mean, personally, I haven't played SimCity in about a month,
mhm.
but I like the fact that I can go back and because I own it, I can go back and play it right now if I wanted to.
Yeah, exactly. In other words, what if it's a game like World of Warcraft, where you play hours and hours and hours, and in weeks, months, and if you're renting it,
Not the best example because you do pay a monthly subscription for that.
yeah, okay. Well, another game then. You don't pay a monthly subscription, but you play over and over and over.
Well, like another game would be like League of Legends right now, which you pay nothing for, and you get it for free 24/7.
Yeah, but you can pay money, right, to buy different things on it to make
You can buy little aesthetic things, but not exactly, paying for game time.
Okay.
So it seems like they're trying something that has worked with Netflix, but hasn't exactly worked with gaming.
Mm.
So the last thing I can think of is I assume they're still doing well because they have commercials all over the place on TV. Not GameSpot, GameFly. GameFly essentially is the same thing. You pay a monthly fee and you can rent games. Of course, they're by mail and online, but hopefully Gaikai can do a little bit better, and hopefully they can find their niche in the market. Because if they don't, I mean, people don't want it. People don't want it.
Mm. Well, yeah,
Yep.
I think you're right. Oh.
Have I ever been wrong? Wait, no, I'm sorry. Let me correct that. Have I ever been wrong and admitted it?
Never.
Never. Thank you. Okay. So, I have another story here. Craig, you don't have this one. This one from thedrum.com. Title: Selfie-addicted Russian soldier caught in Ukrainian territory by Instagram geotagging. The Instagram account of a Russian soldier may have landed under pressure. Vladimir Putin in hot water after the app's photo map placed 24-year-old Sanya Sotkin's selfies in rebel-held Ukrainian territory. The selfie-addicted soldier Instagram may be vital in proving Russia's involvement in the Ukrainian civil war after images of the show the active duty Sotkin operating in the disputed territory. This is despite Moscow denying, yada yada. The Instagram photo map shows the Russian near the Ukrainian towns of said Ukrainian towns in images taken earlier this month. One selfie posted on July 5th shows Sotkin in rebel-controlled territory near the town of Krasny Derkul.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Ukrainian armed forces have engaged in a day-long break in the campaign to reclaim a safe zone. So, they have the Instagram here, and they show some of his selfies. It's this guy. He's taken over 500 selfies, all of him in, Russian military garb. And I guess just, thanks to geotagging, he has been proven to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mm.
Technology will get you in trouble, folks.
Yes,
it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here's one that I do have a link to where I could. Did you see this one from CNN? A woman changed her name to L. Skywalker and was denied a passport because she changed her name. Gosh. People name their kids and even sometimes themselves after their heroes. So it's understandable, therefore, that a deeply committed Star Wars fan might want to be referred to as L. Skywalker. And, of course, it's better than L. Cid or L's Bells. The government of the UK is, however, unimpressed with Laura Matthews. This is because her full name is now Laura Elizabeth Skywalker Matthews. Now, what could be wrong with that? Well, evidently the Telegraph reports the island authorities didn't like her signature that it's now L. Skywalker. The UK's Home Office declared it will not recognize a change to a name which is subject to copyright or trademark. It added that its duty is to ensure that British passports aren't called into question or disrepute. Oh, I wonder, the author goes to say, how many British people are called Brad Pitt, Sarah Palin, or the Marquis de Sade? And what of all the Everdeens of England who call their kids Katniss? Will they be upright?
Katniss from Hunger Games.
Yeah. Will they be upbraided and brought before the House of Lords? Matthews, who said she changed her name just for a giggle or two, is stunned at this eccentric decision. She insists that all her other legal documents, such as her driver's license and credit cards, did not have her new and, let's face it, rather impressive signature. Now it seems that she will have to apply for a passport all over again and use her old signature. She will, however, be allowed to keep the Skywalker in her name. Woe betide, though, when she has to use her passport as a secondary means of identification, and some wise functionary notes the entirely different signatures on the two documents. The things we do to get closer to our heroes, if they only cared. Ah, well, so there it is. Okay, well, I say good for her, really.
Imitation is the best form of flattery,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you don't want to mess around with legal documents.
No.
That's something I've learned.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I guess so.
Bureaucracy takes no prisoners, much like a Sith Lord.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's it.
Did you know there are only 2 Sith Lords?
How many Sith Lords? There are only
There
two.
are only 2 Sith Lords.
Yeah.
There are many, 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 many Jedi, but there's only a Master and an Apprentice Sith.
Okay. That's the one that has the lightsaber on both ends, right? The double-sided one.
No, that's a personal choice.
Oh, okay. Because that's where
Just, it's Vader and Palpatine, or, something along those lines. There's only ever 2 Sith Lords
okay.
operating.
I'll file that away in the things I need to remember.
I think everyone needs to know that. That's a very important tidbit.
Yes.
Computer America tidbit. You're welcome.
Thank you. You know what's special about tomorrow?
It's a new month.
It's August. Oh my gosh, what happens in July? It flies on by.
Good riddance. Summer, go away. It's time for
90
fall and winter.
seconds.
Well, it's going to be an unusual show. In the first half hour, we have a company called Halo Belt scheduled. They're going to be on with us. They make these belts that literally glow in the dark for yourself and for your pets, and they're kind of a technology thing. We're going to have them on talking about this technology they developed, and we'll see how long that goes. And then, of course, we'll have our more computer technology news stories brought to you by Slimware Utilities. We'll do that.
60 seconds.
And, of course, it'll be our show reminder winner of the week. We'll announce that, too. And, again, you have like about 30 seconds to get your entry in for our Logitech contest before it closes down. Again, thanks to Phil Shea from Yamaha for the first hour. It was a lot of fun and certainly informative, and we look forward to having Yamaha back in upcoming episodes of the Computer America show. That's about does it. Ben, I think you're off again tomorrow. Charles Tendell, I think, will be returning. He'll be calling to us live from Las Vegas when he's going to be reporting on Black Hat and DEF CON. So we'll see you tomorrow night. So until tomorrow night, this is Craig Crossman hoping that your hard disk never becomes floppy. We'll see you tomorrow.
10 seconds.
It's off.
Whoops.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.
I guess your goodbye was just muted. They didn't hear you.
Yep.
But they hear you on our Hangouts, our live video streaming. Ben said goodnight, and he had his microphone turned off, so that was what the whoops was. And you see, you're behind the scenes, so you saw that here. You saw it actually happen. Well, okay.
Glamorous, I know.
Glamorous. Okay, well, everybody, have a good evening, and we'll see you all tomorrow night. And we'll have our show reminder of the week selected as well. So good night, everybody. No, you did it again. Your mic is muted.
Good night.
There it is.